Outlander's Jamie and Claire just rejected their last chance to raise a child together. Diana Gabaldon explains why. Between them, Outlander's main characters Jamie, Sam Heughan, and Claire Fraser, Caitriona Balfe, have helped raise a passel of kids: Brianna, Sophie Skelton, Fergus, Caesar Damoy, Marsley, Lauren Lyle, and young Ian, John Bow, but they have never raised a child together. Now, with the Beardsley baby, whom Jamie calls Bonnie, in need of a home, they have that opportunity. And in tonight's episode, Season 5, Episode 4, they decide whether or not to raise that child together. Outlander author Diana Gabaldon spoke exclusively to Parade.com about the scene in which Jamie and Claire amorously drunk walk in the dark, away from the raucous party in Brownsville, where humor changes to a bittersweet, but no less loving conversation about babies. In an intimate moment during the most recent Outlander episode, Jamie asks, "Do you want wee Bonnie? Do you want to keep her? We have a big house. I have seen you with her Sassenach. I see how you would have looked with Brie. I thought this might be the last chance to raise a bairn together." Claire is the more practical of the two, telling Jamie that they might not be the best parents for Bonnie. She says, "Please know that I love you even more for wanting to take the chance. I so regretted that we were never parents together, but regret isn't enough. I love our life together. I don't think we would be the best home for her." Jamie asking Claire whether she wants to keep Bonnie is the epitome of tenderness, Gabaldon added. It touches on their mutual regret that they were never parents together, and his longing during their years of separation, hoping that his child had survived, and imagining Claire as a mother, holding his baby. And knowing that he'd never see that. Claire gives him a beautiful, tender answer. She shares his regret, but regret is not enough. And together they make the decision to give the baby to Lucinda, a young mother who lost her own baby at birth, and has both love and milk in abundance. Brianna, of course, is Jamie and Claire's only surviving biological child. And when Claire was pregnant with her just prior to the battle at Culloden, Jamie cared enough to send Claire back through the stones to give birth in more modern times where there was better medical care. First, he assumed he was going to die in the battle, as so many did. Second, he knew how difficult Claire's first pregnancy was with Faith, who died at birth in Gabaldon's second novel Dragonfly in Amber and almost cost Claire her life. So, while Jamie is programmed to want to do all he can for the woman he loves, she has a much more pragmatic attitude, having actually raised a baby from birth, which Jamie hasn't had to do. Well, in purely storytelling terms as per book, I mean you don't want a baby hanging around all the time, Gabaldon explained. I have 3 kids, presently 33, 35 and 37, and 2 grandsons, 2.5 and 6 months, and I have vivid memories of what life is like with a baby, small kid in close range. Either I would have had to have Claire find somebody to palm the kid off on all the time, which would make her look non-maternal and cold-hearted, or she would have had to stop going to battlefields with Jamie. But the battlefields are where the fun stuff happens, Gabaldon pointed out. This is why Dragonfly in Amber starts 20 years after Outlander, to give Brianna time to grow up and be left, so I didn't have to juggle a whiny little kid for chapters and chapters. I mean, small children are just not interesting to anybody but their parents or grandparents. Good point. Jamie's experience with child rearing is with older children, and while he has 2 biological children, Brianna and William, who he can never claim, because if he did it would cost William his British title, Earl of Ellesmere, Jamie has never let biology stand in the way of taking on parental duties, so adopting Bonnie wouldn't be a stretch for him. He adopted Fergus when he found him pickpocketing in a whorehouse in Paris, and when Jamie married Loghaire, now Hudson, he became stepdad to her 2 daughters Marsley and Joan McKimmie, Layla Burns. Then, when young Ian felt stifled at Lallybroch, he moved to Edinburgh and Jamie took him under his wing. So, even though he has helped raise several children, he really has no knowledge of what it would take to raise a newborn, which is where Claire's experience and practicality comes into play. Now, in terms of the character's essential pragmatism, And Claire is essentially pragmatic. While a few glimpses of her with a baby on her knee would be lovely and heartwarming, those are the grace notes to life, not the melody, Gabaldon explained. She's smart enough not to sacrifice the life she and Jamie have now, which has brought them such rich love and togetherness, for a fairy tale notion of child-rearing that she knows doesn't exist. Gabaldon continued, to wit, if there's a small baby in the equation, somebody has to watch, feed and change it. Constantly. And if this is the 18th century, Daddy is not a Mr. Mom, he pretty much has to be out tilling the fields, hunting deer and driving off bad guys, because he's a whole lot physically stronger than Mommy, who by default is then stuck with the baby and thus housebound. No more wild adventures, except for the baby being threatened by something, and you can't pull that one more than once or twice. Claire's decision to leave the baby with Lucinda demonstrates the give and take that makes the couple's relationship work so well, Gabaldon pointed out. Just as Jamie took responsibility for the decision to give Aaron Beardsley mercy in episode 3, taking the decision out of Claire's hands, she does the same thing for him by gently refusing to keep Bonnie. Outlander airs Sunday nights on Stars.